this video, let's try something different and show you what I did, then go back in time and you can follow along as I muddle my way through it. Not gonna lie again, this took an awful lot of blood, sweat and tears, but I am so proud of what I've managed to achieve for my first non-tool related project. It was for a good cause and it taught me so many things, and I got to try out heaps and heaps of different techniques. It is, of course, a money box, but not just any money box. It's a money box with a coin run. I've made it for my nephew and niece, Stephen and Phryne, for their 4th birthday, and I get hours of fun out of this. So I hope they do too. At the end of the day, this little panel comes up, and you can tip your coins out and do it all over again. No plans going up online for this, as usual, I made it up as I went along. However, the excruciating level of detail that I go into with all of my mistakes should let you basically copy the design and convert it to how you will. Let's see exactly how I managed to completely over-engineer and overcomplicate a box with a bit of routing on top. I'm going to start by ripping out the bits for the box. 10 mils out of 12 mil ply wide, we're going to have them. And it's my first chance of using the new attachment for the dust extraction on the circular saw. Only $6 for this, 14 to post it. The modern world we live in. Now those boards are the right width, I can cut them down to the 4 bits I need. Okay, so this is what the box is going to look like in its basic form. Left and right, top and bottom, you're currently looking at the front, which is going to be covered by a clear piece of perspex. Stuck to that perspex on 6mm MDF, I'm going to try and cut out this stencil S and P for my nephew and niece, Stephen and Phryne. So what I'm going to do now is use the 5mm straight bit on my router with a makeshift fence, haven't built the fence yet, to rabbit out all the way around here to accept that clear piece of perspex. The stencil I'm actually just going to end up gluing the MDF to the perspex, and I'm going to lock it in using some solid lumber for the edge banding on the front. So here's how I've set up my router table for the very first time to be used in a project properly. I was going to build my fence for the router table this weekend, however, with the nephew and niece's birthday coming up on Saturday, I needed to get this project done first, so the fence will have to wait for another day. Therefore, we have the high-tech vacuum log installed, and I've also got this stop block put there. I've already run a test or two, and you can see there just on this little Forstner jig that I tested down the side, that is a very nice sized rabbit. I've tested up against the acrylic, so it fits perfectly. Now I can do my workpieces. I've marked all of my workpieces, a bit I want to cut off, but on the side bits, I don't want it to go all the way through. I want it to be about 6mm off the bottom. So I've marked that there, and that's what the stop block's for. When I run this through, that blade should stop 6mm from the other side. Top and bottom pieces, I'll do them second because I'm going to go all the way through there. I'll just remove the stop block and we can do a nice straight run. Now, it does take a little bit of practice, this routing. I said I've not really done it along the fence before, so it'll be interesting and try and get some nice clean results by taking it slow. Well, the top and bottom pieces look nice, don't they? That worked quite well, pretty happy with that, except for one piece of stupidity. They need to be opposite, James. That's not going to work. Gonna have to cut myself a new bit of wood and mirror that little error, unless I can figure out a way to hide it, but no, well. First time, allowed to make mistakes. But what I should have done is have a stop block on both ends so that these two side pieces look like that on every corner, and that way you wouldn't see the little top and bottom hole. I might be able to get away with it if I edge band all the way around, and then I can just hide that little gap and you'll never see those two little stuff ups. However, the rest of it, looking pretty good. Score 1 for the router table. And the router vacuum. I really didn't think that was going to work very well. It got nearly all of the dust. Fantastic. I hope when I actually build the fence it works that well. Now I've got the box cut. Time for the front piece of perspex. Got this lovely piece of perspex. It's clear, believe it or not. Just got the protective wrapping on there while I cut it, and also because it's easier to see where my pencil markings are. Just going to cut that a little bit bigger than I need to on my new jigsaw table. So first time I'm using the jigsaw table in a project too, if you don't count making the other templates. And I picked up a nice set of universal cutting blades today. I needed them primarily because I wanted a really fine tooth one for cutting the plastic. Wood ones really wouldn't work that well, make it all raggedy. And the one I'm excited about are these little scrolling blades. I wasn't terribly happy with the cheap Ryobi ones that came with the kit, but you know, as long as the machine can do its job, these things should work really well. All right, let's cut this piece out. That was pretty easy. You might be wondering why I bought such a huge piece of perspex when I need approximately 12 by 20 centimeters. Honestly, because they were going to charge me $50 for that, or they were going to charge me $50 for that. I'm sure I won't go to waste. Nothing here does. So that was my really roughly cut. I gave myself a good couple of centimeters spare. I'm hoping that that's a 90-degree corner. That's the one the plastic guys cut for me. And I've been able to measure off a more accurate cut. So this time I'll cut just that side of the line now that I've got a bit more control on the smaller piece, and then I'll either use a router or a sander depending on how good my jigsawing is to clean it up, make it fit properly. Hello, are you still with me? Vibrating jigsaw table and tripod, monopod, not a good combination. This doesn't make the bloopers real. This just goes straight on YouTube. Okay, so despite not smashing my camera, fortunately, / phone on the floor, we've successfully made those cuts and they're pretty good. In fact, I'm only going to need to do a tiny bit of sanding and they will fit in beautifully. I've also cut earlier, I've got to show you, a 5mm dado down here because this is a twins money box. There are 2 of them. They're each going to have their own side to the box, so I'm going to have an MDF divider. You won't see it, it'll be hiding in there. Or maybe I can use perspex. Yeah, I'll see which I have more of. That's for that anyway, once it's all assembled. Excited to try this for the very first time. As usual, I am filming while I'm trying things for the very first time. I've put one of those really narrow scrolling blades into the jigsaw because I'm going to try and do some tighter curves. I cut that out, MDF, 6mm, exactly the same as I did off a slightly larger board as I did the perspex. I've just printed up to scale the exact size of the S and the P for Stephen and Bryony that I want on here. This is really just an embellishment. It's going to be stuck on the front of the perspex. I'm going to paint it up in a couple of colours. So decoration, but it's what's going to make it unique for their birthday. Spray adhesive. Haven't used this stuff before, but Steve on Woodworking Mere Mortals uses it all the time to do this sort of stuff. So, as usual, copying crap I see on the internet with spectacularly bad results. Well, hopefully not. Apparently the trick is just to leave it for 30 seconds or so to air dry on the paper, and it just becomes tacky like a sticky note, and that way I won't need to sand too much when I'm peeling it off again. First time, so I'm just guessing, but that feels about right. And as for cutting MDF, time for the good dust mask. In an earlier video, I had to bugger around with a plunge router to try and cut a hole big enough for that jigsaw bit to go through. So today I decided to solve that problem with a big ass new drill bit. So there we go, got 2 starting holes that I can use either the jigsaw or the 5mm router bit in to clean up these inside bits. Also then use the router to just sand off and get in here. Although I did quite like the scrolling bit a lot. It's pretty good. I'm just not confident on how sharp I can push it, how far I can push it until it snaps. Luckily they gave me 2. I'm sure I'll get better over time, but making these templates is a really fun, if slightly tedious, time-consuming, there's an oxymoron there, fun tedium. However, you get the point. It takes a while to do, but it's quite rewarding and not too difficult. Something I can get better with a lot of practice. You might need to gear up a little bit to work with MDF, but it's like cutting butter. I am so happy with that. Maybe use a tiny bit too much spray adhesive, but it peeled off pretty easily. And that's going to be painted up, sanded off first of course, and stuck onto the perspex. We're getting there.